Hey guys, I'm Andy DeBrino. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm finally getting back to a part 2 video on my 890 Duke R race bike build. It's been a year and a half since my last video on this thing, and we've changed a lot. So we're gonna go in and deep dive on all the different things I've done and changed in the last few years racing this bike. So there's still a lot on the bike that's the same as last year. Obviously the S2 Concepts belly pan, we got our racing plate on the front, we got Moto Master rotors, we got some KTM power part bling on this bike, we got the Akrapovic full exhaust system. But there's also a lot that's changed. We've gone through a couple different motor iterations. We've changed suspension, we've changed wheels, we've changed hard parts, we've changed handlebars, we've changed brakes. Lots of stuff. So we're gonna dive into that now. So for 2023, our goal was to make this the fastest 890 Duke R on the planet, because in Super Hooligans, we're racing against 1200cc bikes with more power, and you know, we gotta squeeze all the orange juice out of this orange that we can. So the main thing we're focusing on going into the season was obviously the engine, getting more power out of it, and then also looking at the rest of the bike, like suspension, trying to get the most out of that for handling, and wheels, lightening up the bike, getting that rotational mass down to help accelerate off the corners, keep up with the faster, more torqueier bikes. So those were our focuses going into the season. So for 2023, we did a brand new engine build for the season, and this is the same engine package I ran all year long. We hit up Speedbox over in Europe. They make some aftermarket accessories for the KTM engines to get some extra performance out of them. So the first thing we did was get their inlet camshafts, which are legal for Super Hooligans. We're allowed to do different cams. We're not allowed to touch pistons. And then another couple parts from Speedbox we put on was the oil radiator kit. That's a huge thing for these KTM engines. They run warm, and that helps keep the oil temps down, and we get to run a little bit more oil through the engine, which helps. And then they also make a large water pump cover, which again just helps with cooling, and they sure look really good too. So aside from the Speedbox upgrades, we also did some port work. We took the flywheel, we lightened that up a bit to kind of help the bike pick up RPM quicker and accelerate harder off the corners. We added a Recluse torque drive clutch, which was very crucial for warm temperatures. Like in Texas, it got over 107 degrees, and that upgraded clutch from Recluse is super durable, and it really handles the heat better than the stock clutch. So in racing, you gotta be reliable, and the whole package, it went all season, all the engine work we had done to it. And this is the fastest KTM 890 Duke R in the world. This thing makes just under 133 horsepower. And at Daytona, our highest trap speed was 156.4 mile an hour, which was 3 or 4 mile an hour quicker than all the other Dukes in the field. So safe to say this is the quickest KTM 890 Duke R there is. So here we got the Speedbox and large water pump cover paired with the Samco Sport hoses. Both look amazing and actually improve the performance of the bike as well. One thing I really like about the Speedbox stuff is it comes with that titanium hardware pre-drilled for safety wire on that water pump cover. The oil radiator looks really cool. Definitely get a lot of comments about that. And again, that's huge for keeping this engine running as optimally as we can. We got Woodcraft frame sliders. Vanashu Motorsports, their Sprocket cover. They're actually out of Oregon, nearby where I live. We're also running a DynoJet quick shifter sensor, just so we can adjust the sensitivity of it. New for this year is the K-Tech through rod shock and forks that we got on this bike. The shock is super trick. I really like its compact size. It's a lot easier to get in and out of the bike, and when you're racing, we're adjusting the shock, changing shock springs, you know, sometimes taking the shock out and doing different valving, and just being able to have an easily accessible shock that's, you know, a nice size to get in and out, because this KTM, the subframe, it's kind of tight getting that thing up in there. So yeah, just from you know, being able to work on it, it's a lot better in that regard. But the tunability of the K-Tech shock is fantastic. There's a little knob right here that we can fill this with air to actually pop the spring off, and obviously tons of adjustment. And then the forks too, we got K-Tech Internals, the through rod, the TRDS. From a performance standpoint, the the feeling I was able to get just over the bumps, this thing just soaks it up. It's like riding on clouds. And then we're still running the Matrice steering dampener. We went with DiMag Wheels this year. We wanted to reduce that rotational mass. These wheels weigh about 10 pounds lighter than the stock wheels, and they sure look good too. And we got them paired up with Moto Master brake rotors to help stop the bike. We're running Moto Master brake pads. We got Core Moto USA brake lines. So we deleted the ABS, and we got some special plugs in the ABS ports. So yeah, great braking power. We got the Gal Speed front brake master on there. Just personal preference on what master you're like. This one's adjustable. We got some cool 3D printed parts. My friend Alex Taylor made this 3D printed aim solo mount for the handlebars here, which is pretty cool because obviously when you're racing you want to see your lap time. So as I'm tucked in on the straightaways, I can read what my lap times are and see if I'm on a hot lap. And then my other friend Alex made me this 3D printed number plate mount, because in Super Hooligans, number plates are required on the sides of the tail section. So that one's 3D printed. And then on the other side of it, we chose not to 3D print a mount because we didn't want it to melt. And what I ended up doing was just taking the KTM passenger peg bracket that also is the exhaust hanger. I chopped it, welded a bracket, and made a carbon fiber number plate for there. So that way it looks good. It's kind of mocked up with the angle of the other side, and it's not going to melt from the exhaust. And we're still running the full Akrapovic Evolution exhaust system on this thing. Works good, sounds good, looks great. What else? Oh yeah, check out this 3D printed piece here. Just a plug. Again, this is where the ignition used to be for the key, and my friend Alex Clark 3D printed a custom plug there with my number on it. But yeah, these Woodcraft switches are really sweet. Billet. This bike has been crashed, and the stock ones would have got smashed and these ones didn't. Gearing on this bike, we're running super light sprockets. Best on the market, lightweight, durable, long lasting, paired with a DID ERV7 chain. On the intake side of things in the Airbox, this is the stock Airbox. We got a couple things removed out of there. We got a DNA filter and a Rottweiler power plate in there as well. So that really helps get the thing breathing. The stock Airbox really works the best, as we found in our experience. And we got that paired up with a DynoJet Power Commander 5 for all our tuning. Basically, since the build started, I mean, yeah, we've just gone through a couple different motor iterations, and again, just kind of found some different parts I like better, you know, as far as feel goes. Like I said, the Bonamici rear sets really was a nice upgrade for feeling on the bike and adjustability, and the DiMag Wheels weight savings and the captive spacers that they come with, just ease for changing the wheels, which we change the rear tire every single session, so that wheel's coming off the bike. So that makes for a nice quick pit stop. So new for this year, we're running a totally different handlebar setup, and this is probably the most common question I get asked about online is, what handlebar am I running? This is a Renthal street handlebar. I don't have the part number, it's blocked, but zero rise. It has a little bit of sweep to it, and this really helps us get in that aerodynamic position for road racing, and it feels a little bit more like a sport bike with this handlebar setup. We're running ODI grips with this bike. I got the stock throttle tube. I just took a razor blade and cut the stock grip off it, and to be able to run handlebars this low without any clearance issues, you have to have reduced steering angle. And you can do that by either running these Forsaken Motorsports triple clamps, which have adjustable steering stops, or if you're running stock clamps, you can take a wheel weight and tape them to the steering stops. Because if you just straight put these handlebars on your bike, you're gonna have clearance issues with the controls and your hands getting pinched between the bars in the tank when you're steering the bike. So this year, 2023, we finished out the Super Hooligan Championship, 3rd overall in the standings. I had 6 podiums, one of those which was a win at the Ridge Motorsports Park, my home track. I also set pole position there and set the lap record on this thing. And yeah, it was an awesome season. You know, this bike's done a lot of racing and it's performed super well for us. And I'm really excited about next year and doing a whole new Super Hooligan bike build. But as far as this thing goes, I'm definitely gonna keep it and probably do some club racing on it. The other cool thing I did on this year was I won 3 club racing championships with Ormra and Wemra here in the Pacific Northwest. So, and that's in 600cc classes, racing against ZX6s, R6s. And so yeah, big accomplishment for this bike, beating up on the 600 sport bikes. Probably my top 2 moments on this bike would be for sure winning Daytona in 2022, and then also my race at Laguna Seca this year with Jeremy McWilliams. That last lap battle with him, that was super cool. I felt like I had if there was one more lap, I would have won that race because I was all over him. I just needed a little bit more power to try to squeak by him there at the finish line there, but hey, you know, we're racing at 890 against 1200, so who knows, maybe next year we'll have something a little bit quicker and they'll give me what I need to take them down. Well, that's a wrap on this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna be working really hard this winter and into 2024 to make more YouTube videos, post them more consistently. I'm definitely gonna be doing more KTM content, and please go on Instagram and follow me at Andy DeBrino. Super stoked to show you guys some more content, some fun stuff coming out in the future.